क्लीं कैवल्य क्लीं कैवल्य क्लीं कैवल्य क्लीं कैवल्य क्लीं कैवल्य
Namaste. Welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam for this Kaivalya Marga class, where we'll consider nourishing the Agni through a very beautiful Kriya called the Trataka Kriya, which is traditionally practiced when you stare into the flame. In today's class, we will learn all about the Trataka Kriya, the various methods by which I have practiced, I have learned, and I humbly offer this for your consideration and for your practice. As always, this is a very mindful class, a satsang in itself, and therefore let us begin this with 3 Oms. Trataka is connected with Agni or fire. Trataka is predominantly a Kriya that was established as a practice through Hatha Yoga. The practice of nourishing the Agni in the belly, nourishing the Agni in the eyes, and nourishing the Agni at the bottom of your feet. In other words, it covers the entire body. Flame, the steadiness in the flame, the idea of focusing on a flame is the fundamental essence of the Trataka practice. All other variations of this practice, as I will explain it in today's class, go around this very essence. So we never compromise on the essence of Trataka. Trataka is a mantra for the eyes. The same Tra comes, mantra, and here is Trataka. Tra means Trayata, Trayeti, Trana. Trana means protection. So here you are invoking the Agni element, excuse me. You are invoking the Agni element for protection. In mantra, you invoke the sound element for protection. right? So we will leave mantra aside for now. We focus on Trataka. A very subtle Kriya. You will not see the effects in a day or two, in a week or two. It takes months and years. And just like you have a shower every day or whatever you do on a regular basis, this could be a very beautiful practice that you can incorporate in your lifestyle, whether you do it once a week, twice a week. There is a particular time in the fortnight, in the cycle of the moon, that you could do Trataka practice. And that is on the 8th night, Ashtami, and on the new moon night. The 8th night, you can do it during waxing or waning. And then you practice Trataka, new moon night. That is Amavasya. And it is, though I say night, it is ideally done first thing in the morning. So Ashtami, if the Ashtami clicks and along with it the early morning comes, there is nothing like it. So don't get caught up between Ashtami and Saptami or the 8th day and 7th day, because when the sun is rising just before that at dawn time, the Ashtami may just be getting over. So it's not a hard and fast rule. But the 8th is the mid phase. When you look at the moon on the 8th night, whether it is waxing or waning, it is exactly the same. So that brings an element of equanimity in our practice. That is why in Ashtami they say don't do anything else. Don't start a new job or don't do anything else. Because that day is meant to be predominantly for meditation and spiritual practice. So Ashtami, early morning, is a very good time. Waxing and waning cycles of the moon. And the other one, if you do not have time for these and you want to do it just once in 15 days, because this is a full-fledged sadhana by itself, you have to provide time for it. You do it once in 15 days, then you do once a month, then it is Amavasya. New moon night. We spent so much time setting up these lights, I'm a little dazed. So I need to do some Trataka and get some focus and my mind focused. So it is Ashtami on the waxing, Ashtami on the waning, in other words, 8th night of the waxing moon, 8th night of the waning moon, or the new moon night. New moon. When there is no moon, no mind, that is the perfect night for this kind of practice. Early morning, like I said, is ideal for Trataka. When you get up, the mind is relaxed. It's not got into a spate of thinking. It's very easy to practice Trataka. Trataka is also very, very, very good for eyes. For those of us who have eye problems, short-sightedness, long-sightedness, and all of that, Trataka comes handy. Because you are teaching your eyes to focus on the flame. You're studying the flame in its entirety. What are we doing here? And before I go into the varieties, how to prepare, how to sit, what to do, and all of that, that is why I said, don't forget the essence here. The essence is the flame. And that flame, what do I do then? Am I just going to look into the flame? So first things, when I'm looking into the flame, I have a soft music, a soft brain entrainment sound that goes in the background, which keeps the frontal lobe of the brain occupied. Now, is it ideal to do it in absolute silence? Yes, of course. But is it easy? That is the question. It is not easy to do it in silence. And therefore, you have not any soft music. It's called brain entrainment. It is just a meaningless sound that sets your brain into a pattern. You entrain it. And so that goes on. You might hear it in this video as I'm speaking to you, very softly, extremely softly, so it doesn't distract. And yet, the frontal lobe of the brain is kept occupied with the sound. And as always, space is the first thing you have to create in order to practice. So the sound in that space is created. Then what do? I look into the flame. I study the flame, the blue part of the flame, the dark blackish part of the flame, and then the tip of the flame. And if the flame moves, I watch the movement as well. Now I'm speaking here, so the flame is moving, but ideally, if you look at it now, I cover my mouth, and so there is no wind. Flame becomes steady. Eyes become steady. Focused on the flame. Talk to the flame. Talk to yourself about the flame. Describe the flame in your mind. Why is the flame moving? How is it so steady? What is the height of this flame? Engage yourself in the flame. Slowly let all the other surroundings gently drift into a blur. So ideally, that's why we do it early morning. That's why it's dark. And you're able to focus on the flame. You could even keep a dark blanket behind if you can. So there is nothing that would distract you from the flame. When you do it with both the eyes open, then you stare and try not to blink as long as you can. Calmly. Breathing in and out. Anytime you're tired, you close your eyes and picture the flame in your mind's eye. Giving your eyes a rest, but not the flame. The focus continues. Now the flame, what did I see in the last 2 or 3 minutes without blinking? What was the size of the flame? What was the color of the flame? And then open your eyes to see the very same flame. Once again, continue the Trataka. When your eyes start watering or burning or hurting, initially it will, if you are new to this practice, then again close your eyes gently. Get the flame in your mind's eye. So this is the essence of the Trataka practice. Now you might get distracted by all the other things I'm going to share, how to prepare for this and so on, but I wanted to put out the very essence first. Because if this essence is compromised, then the Trataka becomes very less effective. When I talked about the days and the number of days you could do this every day if you have the time. You could do it every alternate day if you had the time. But at least try and do it every 8th day of the moon, or at least once in a month on a new moon, night or early morning. So that talks about the frequency. The essence of Trataka is, the word staring comes to mind, but staring is somehow too harsh a word. Focus is the right word. You can sit with your child and say, let's play a game of focusing on the flame, because you teach the brain, you slow down the electrical impulses in the brain, the synapses, the firing of the neurotransmitters and so on. You begin to control that energy. Like I explained in the last class, the gut and the brain, the stomach and the brain are in constant communication. The stomach sends out neurotransmitters, wonderful ones like serotonin, dopamine, etc. to the brain, and the brain distributes that. So for that to happen in a controlled manner, focus comes. So that in other words, what happens is it puts us in a very beautiful state of mind, creative state of mind, calm state of mind, and so on, with practice. It's a very beautiful practice. Nothing can really go wrong with this practice, unless, of course, you're careless and you light a flame and there is something inflammable around you. So please follow the basic precautions, safety precautions, and follow the safety measures around lighting a flame. At this point, let me also explain that we put sesame oil for the flame. The sesame oil is considered an excellent fuel for the flame, helps maintain the steadiness of the flame. And there is something about the perfume of the sesame oil, a smell of the sesame oil, that has a very grounding effect. That is why sesame oil is connected to the planet Saturn. Saturn is connected to Mooladhara. Mooladhara is connected to the earth. So a very subtle smell also begins to affect our deep unconscious mind, making it very, very grounded. Because this is a very grounded practice. You are in the here and now. There is no visiting other dimensions and seeing other lights. There should be no other distractions. I am here. I am now. I am looking into the flame. What is the flame in front of me? What is it telling me? What am I talking? That kind of deep communication you begin with the flame. You are tuning into the Agni element, the fire element in the universe. And that fire element is in the belly as well. That's the beauty of this practice. That is the power of this practice. It is a very subtle practice because there is no chanting, no moving, nothing to be done, at least during this. And therefore, this is how Trataka is done. Now let's get to the nitty-gritties. What to sit, how to sit, what are the types of this Trataka, and so on and so forth. All right. Before we settle down to sit in the Trataka, because what you would think is, all right, Trataka, I'm going to do it. So I light a lamp, I have the matchstick ready, I have the sesame oil ready, I have the lamp ready, and I'm seated. And I start staring. Now, if you do that, the effectiveness of the practice becomes minimized. One has to prepare to do this Trataka. So there is a pre-Trataka preparation, if you will. You prepare yourself for Trataka, ignite the Agni in the belly, and then come and settle down to receive the light into the eyes. Just like any other exercise, whether it is yoga or regular exercise, you do a little bit of warm-up, don't you? It is the same manner here. You can't just sit and stare into a flame and think you're doing. You could. I mean, there's no such thing that you cannot. But the effectiveness is reduced. Because the body is not ready to receive this Agni. So from the body, from the earth and the water element, you bring the consciousness and then tune into the flame and establish that connection. So the awareness has to come from below. All right. So having said that, I'm going to share with you how do we prepare for Trataka. Before we even settle down, there are exercises and kriyas for the belly that we need to do in order to begin Trataka. What are these things that we do here to ignite the Agni here? The first, the flame that is lit for Trataka is not the first flame. The first flame that is lit is in the belly. The belly flame is lit, nurtured, you tune into that, and then you focus on this. Then there is a connection established between the belly and this. Aham Vaishvanara, the life force is here. So we have to ignite that. Without that, it becomes an incomplete practice. All right. What do we do for the belly? We do the Udiyana Bandha. And I'll show it to you in a bit. Udiyana Bandha, some of you know this already. Not the mild Udiyana Bandha like I'm sitting now. Like this is mild Udiyana Bandha. So, not at this point. Preparation is I breathe out fully, I pull the stomach fully in Udiyana Bandha. Then I do Agnisara. Then again go back to Udiyana Bandha, Agnisara. I can just do these two for a while, 4 to 5 minutes. And then I begin to feel, okay, I'm ready to settle down, to focus. The mind will automatically be drawn in because the internal light is lit. For those of you who followed the Hanuman Yagna with me, we did 100 days of these. Now, in addition to this, some of you who know the Nauli Kriya can practice the Nauli Kriya as well. So, Udiyana Bandha, Agnisara, Nauli Kriya. You end it again with Udiyana Bandha. So, you have these 4 that is done as preparatory practices. When you do that for 3, 4 or 5 minutes, then you settle down for Trataka. So before we go any further, let us take a very brief look. I'm not going to spend 4-5 minutes showing you the whole routine, but I'll give you a glimpse of each of these. Let's take a look at how to prepare ourselves for Trataka. I like to do that preparation standing up, so let's stand up for that. All right, so before we sit for the Trataka Kriya, we do these preparations. The first one is the Udiyana Bandha. Udiyana is abdominal lift. This is how it's done. Knees slightly bent, palms on your knees. Exhale fully and pull your stomach in, up towards and into the diaphragm. And then slowly release. Now, Udiyana Bandha, you can go on repeating it for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times. Still, you feel the mind is becoming calm and settled. So that is the importance of that Udiyana Bandha. It becomes focused, it becomes attentive, right? And once you get it there, then you do the Agnisara to generate the warmth and move the consciousness upwards. So Agnisara is probably known to most of you. You breathe out fully. Once again, you do the Udiyana Bandha and then flap the stomach in and out. You inhale and come up. And then once again, you repeat the Agnisara at least 3 to 4 times. Then you will feel the energy really contained in the belly. And then when you do that, if you know this Kriya, then you do it. That's the Nauli Kriya. The Nauli Kriya is where you move from left to right first, and then right to left second. So this is how it's done. Now, Nauli Kriya is again, this Nauli Kriya, you can do it twice, thrice, go back to Agnisara, come back to Nauli Kriya. If you wish to go back and forth with Agnisara and Nauli Kriya, till you will feel it. You will feel like, okay, I'm ready to sit down for meditation, for focus. Okay? When you get that feeling, you end it with Udiyana Bandha. That Udiyana Bandha at the end, you could do it as sitting down or standing up, but I'll just show it to you standing up. You breathe out again. And once you're done, this will take about anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes in your everyday practice or whenever you do this. Once you're done, then you settle down for Trataka Kriya. So let's settle down for Trataka Kriya. All right. Before we begin, there is one more thing that we need to do. Once we do the Udiyana Bandha, Agnisara, and if possible, Nauli, and again go back to Udiyana Bandha and keep repeating this in a cycle till you feel you're ready. Then when you settle down, there is one thing you need to do to the bottom of the feet. And that is this. What is happening here? In order for the flame to come alive, it needs fuel. And what is the fuel? Like I said, it's sesame oil that I give as the fuel. So in order for the Agni to stay alive, now I have lit it, but in order for it to be lit in my stomach, I apply sesame oil. Where? To my stomach? No. There is a spot in the stomach that you will do, but we'll come to that. But before that, very importantly, I apply it to the bottom of my feet. So let me show you. right in the center, I have organic sesame oil. We get this in Amazon Marketplace and elsewhere. You can also get the organic one. All you need to do is take just a spot of oil in your forefinger, rub it in the middle, right in the center of your feet, and keep it aside. Take your thumb, and along with the thumb, massage it nicely in. You see this? Massage it in, right in the center, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, till the oil is fully rubbed in. Okay? Now, there's nothing wrong in rubbing the whole foot, but I don't like to get my foot oil. And it's more important that you just put it right in the center. So all you have to do is rub the oil in. And you repeat the same thing on the other leg as well. Once you do that, then the oil, the sesame oil, which is connected to the Shani, the Saturn element, right from the bottom, he is going to provide that warmth. Now, these are, again, like I said, very subtle practices, but this is the traditional practice. It's not taught these days, it's not practiced these days, but I thought I must share it and put it all out there for your consideration. In addition to that, once again, you take a spot, the tip of your forefinger. This time, you put it right into the belly button, right here. Put it into the belly button and rub it in the belly button and slightly around it as well. Fully. And if you have some left, you can just simply rub up and down around the belly so that there's no oil sticking to your finger. Now you are ready. All of this is done in a very meditative manner, tuning into your body, listening to your body, and so on. Okay? Rubbing oil on the feet, in the belly. Now you noticed I have put sandalwood on my chest and in between my eyebrows. I think if you get this camera here, you might see there is a little bit here. It's falling off, but there is sandal paste that's applied between the eyebrows, between my chest. Now, when I'm focusing here, it's going to come in handy, because every time I close my eyes, whatever type of Trataka I'm doing, and those types of Trataka will come now, whatever types I'm doing, when I close my eyes, I need to focus that flame in between my eyebrows. So when the sandal paste here dries up, it helps me focus in the spot. The skin gets tight here. Once it dries, the skin gets tight. And so it's easy for me to transfer my focus there. That is one of the reasons why they put sandal paste in between the eyebrows, so it is easy for us to focus on the third eye. That is just an FYI. It is the same thing when you practice, when you close your eyes. If you wish to take the flame in the center of your chest, then the skin in your chest, if you really tune in, if there is enough sandal paste applied, then the dry sandal paste will be tight, will hold the skin a little tight here. And so you will feel the tightness in the skin. You'll be able to focus. It is just a very beautiful way to help yourself, focus. The other beautiful thing about sandalwood is, again, sandalwood is tree. Tree belongs to the earth, and the smell of sandalwood keeps you very grounded. The perfume of the sandalwood affects and keeps us very grounded. So between sandalwood and sesame oil, we are drawing the energy from the earth. Okay? So this is why you see me applying sandalwood paste in the forehead and in my chest as well. All right. So with all this, I sit in front of the flame. Now comes the types of Trataka. I am sitting now at a height where I am slightly looking down at the flame. The distance between me and the flame is about one foot. Okay? A couple of inches here and there is okay. It's not You don't have to be arithmetically or geometrically correct. But it's about 1 foot. You don't want to be 1.5 feet, so this much. You want to be in this distance. Okay? Just as an FYI. You don't want to get too close to the flame. The first type of Trataka, you don't have to do all these types. These are variations. You can pick up any one. I don't do this one that I'm going to show you. This is called Nasika Trataka. Nasika Trataka is where you're looking down towards the tip of the nose as you look into the flame. If you notice, I am at a height and the flame is below me. So my eyesight is going down as I stare into the flame. This is a very cooling practice. This is a beautiful way to begin the practice. I practiced this for many weeks and many months initially. For older people who cannot sit on the ground for longer time, you can sit on a slight stool and you can place a lamp in such a manner that you look down at it. Now, not so low that it is in line with your belly, but it should be, the flame is in line with the tip of your nose. So you're looking down. Slightly, there is a mild Udiyana Bandha where the chin is slightly tilted. And you're looking down at the flame. Now it is very important that the mild Udiyana Bandha is in place, because that is what is igniting the Agni here. If you look into my stomach, if my stomach is loose, then the effectiveness is almost gone, because then the prana begins to shift down. I want it to move up. So having done Udiyana Bandha, Agnisara and Nauli, I'm going to maintain a Lagu Udiyana, a weak Udiyana Bandha, a weak lock, a simple lock, a subtle lock. In other words, watch my stomach, it's pulled out and I'm just pushing it out here like this, loose. I'm going to keep it slightly pulled in. And I'm going to use my chest to breathe. For those of you who attend my yoga class, you know how much I insist on this. This is the key for all yoga practices, especially Trataka. Without this, Trataka becomes useless almost. So maintain this. 1 foot distance. Nasika. Nasika is at the level of the nose, looking down. Like you look down to the tip of the nose, you look down towards this. Once you settle down, your hands in chin mudra, a simple mudra. Sit up tall and straight. Watch my back. It should be absolutely straight. There is no way you could do Trataka like this. This is like squeezing the flame out. So don't keep it alive. Give space for the flame to come up and this flame to go down and meet. And that confluence should happen. The external and the internal. So this is how it happens. This is Nasika Trataka. Okay? Now there is another kind of Trataka. Let me get out of this. I'm going to get a smaller plank to sit on. The one I normally use to sit. This is not as high. So, like I said, in one session, you don't have to do all this. You just settle down for one and just stick to that. This, now you notice, I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Now, this is at eye level. Again, the distance will be about the same 1 foot. I'm not getting closer. Okay? This will be at the eye level. You might notice the flame moving, but that is because I'm speaking here. So bear with me for this. This demo is probably, it has a bug in it. I don't know how to stop that. Anyway, everything else remains the same. Mild Udiyana Bandha, chin mudra in place. And I sit gently with my shoulders relaxed, sitting up tall and straight. I begin looking into the flame. Staring at the flame, focusing on the flame, studying the flame, the blue part, the dark, blackish part inside, and the bright orange on the edges, and the tip of the flame that goes into a spear. The son of Shiva holds a spear like that, representing the blossoming of the Sahasrara. And so I look into the flame. What do I see inside the flame? That's the beauty. Don't let your imaginations run wild, but keep focusing, keep focusing. If you notice something, notice it, absorb it. And when your eyes are tired, close your eyes. Focus on the flame internally now. And again, open your eyes, focus on the flame. Bahya Trataka, Antara Trataka. Antara Trataka is inner Trataka. So inner Trataka is done only when your eyes are tired and you want to blink. Close your eyes mindfully. Don't blink open again. Blink, close your eyes, rest it. But when you're resting, that's when you activate the eyebrows. Focus on the flame in between the eyebrows. If you feel you get a headache doing that, focus on the flame in your chest. The same flame. All right. This is Madhya Trataka. The last Trataka is called the Bhru-Madhya Trataka. This is relatively an advanced practice because now I'm going to get closer to the flame, slightly closer to the flame, in the sense, let me show you. The distance between the flame and me now is just this much. That would be perhaps 6 to 8 inches. Okay? What do? Along with Udiyana Bandha, I perform the Jalandhara Bandha, a mild Jalandhara Bandha. I look down. But my eyes now will look at the flame through the eyebrows, through the third eye. So I'm placing the flame in my third eye, like so. Udiyana Bandha is of prime importance in this practice. This is how I practice. This is how I like to practice. It is difficult to keep your eyes open for a long time in this because you're relatively close to the flame and you're focusing the eyes into the center of the flame. Ujjayi breath is going in and out. When you're tired, you close your eyes and focus on the flame in between the eyebrows. When you're ready, open your eyes once again, focus. When you're tired, close your eyes. This is how the Bhru-Madhya Trataka is practiced. You could try all these three, go back and forth between each one, but in one session, like in one day, if you want to do, don't try 3 things in a day. It'll be too much to move up and down. You want to reduce the kind of movement. Once you finish the preparatory poses, settle down, rub the oil in your belly and in your foot, then you just settle down to whichever one. Today I'm going to try Madhya Trataka, which is normal, ideal for most of us. And then you begin to stare. So I would sit in the bhajan hall an hour before the bhajan and practice Trataka, staring at the flame, which was probably about not so close. It was 3 or 4 feet away from me, but I would practice that. Many, many days when I was lucky enough to sit right in the front, just before the bhajans began. So I had the chance to look into that. So then it would be Madhya Trataka. There was a big lamp right in my eye level side, and I would simply focus on that. And as you spend time practicing in 10, 15 minutes, the flame assumes different forms, and you will be able to see things which you're not prepared for. So that opens the intuitive mind. It's a very beautiful experience. I leave it to you to practice. Go into the practice without any expectations. Then you will enjoy it the most. Now, I know it's a lot to take, so I earnestly suggest you perhaps go back to this video and see if you need to. But I want to put it all out there rather than and stretch it out to 2 or 3 sessions. So bear with me here. Now, either in Nasika Trataka or Madhya Trataka, that is the middle Trataka, or the Bhru-Madhya Trataka, the third eye Trataka, right? These are the 3 Tratakas. One is tip of the nose Trataka. This one is line of sight Trataka. And this is third eye Trataka. 3 types. Now in these 3 types, I will add two more subtypes. You can do this in any of these three types. What are they? They are called the Surya Trataka and the Chandra Trataka. Surya Trataka is the extrovert Trataka. The right side of your body is the sun. It makes you extrovert, it gives you confidence, it gives you courage, it makes you bold to go out like the sun without any fear. Right? All laziness, depression and all of that, it counters. So there is a Surya Trataka. How is it done? It's very simple. These are all just mindful practices. I take my left hand and then, so I can practice with both eyes initially, and then I'm going to do Surya Trataka now. So I take the left hand with the base of the palm here. I'm going to close the left nostril and my left eye. So I practically seal the left side. Udiyana Bandha is in place. I'm sitting tall and straight. This hand continues the Chin Mudra. Now with my right eye, I begin to focus on the flame. Study the flame. Everything remains the same. But this, I am breathing through the right nostril and my eye is receiving the Agni through the right side. So my right side of the body, the Surya is activated. The sun is activated. I can practice this as long as I wish to. And then I close my eyes for about a minute or so. And then I do the Chandra Trataka. Chandra Trataka. Chandra is the moon. The moon is the left side of the body. And therefore for this, what do? I take my right hand. Now you know what to do, right? You take the base of the palm here and cover this nostril and use the palm to completely cover your right eye. Now the left eye with the right hand, Chin Mudra, Udiyana Bandha, all of that in place. And then begin to focus on the flame. Study the flame with one eye. Observe the breath going in and out as well. You could do this for 5-10 minutes, as long as you want, trying to make it equal, more or less. And then once again, close your eyes, establish balance for about a minute. And then end with both the eyes open. At the very end, you can offer salutations to the divine flame. Connect the Agni to the Agni in the sun, the Agni in the pit of the stomach, the warmth in the body, the warmth that we feel in love. We bow to that warmth. We bow to the cosmic Agni. We receive and we become instruments of this divine light. Where there is darkness, let us sow light. Where there is despair, let us bring in hope. And with that kind of grateful feeling, you bring this session to an end, you bow down, and then gently release all the bandhas. And with your head bent down, take a few moments. And then slowly come out of your seated posture. My dear brothers and sisters, I shared with you one of the most powerful practices of Hatha Yoga. Traditionally, this is how it is done. I consider myself very fortunate to be an instrument passing on this message. Listen to this with an open mind. Take whatever makes sense to you and practice. But if you, in your overall sadhana, find place for a practice like this at some frequency, perhaps once a week, twice a week, three times a week, if you can do this, if you can teach your children to do this, especially balancing with both the eyes, it will really bring in a fantastic balance in one's personality, creativity, health, vitality. All of that will come automatically as a blessing, because in this flame lies the cosmic Agni, and we are connected this flame to the flame in our body, in ourselves. May this divine Agni light up the darkest corners of our mind, bring face to face with our own fears, and let us with this Agni cancel all the darkness, all the doubts, all the shadows. So that if we were to go into the deepest unconscious, subconscious terrains of our personality, all we will see is light, 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 light. Nothing but light. And your heart will sing, I am light, glowing light, radiating light, intensified light. God consumes my darkness, transmuting it into light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Let us end this with one Om and three Shantis. Thank you all for watching this class. I hope you found this useful. Stay blessed and stay inspired. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.